Good, happy Sunday is Sunday, August 14, 2022. And welcome to this Sunday edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Let's get started right now. Hello everyone, my name is Riley King and welcome to this Sunday edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. It's time to rise and shine and grab that good cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy this Sunday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. We have a lot of stuff to talk about in this broadcast this morning, so let's get started with your Sunday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King right now. First up, we're going to begin with your news headlines. First up, threats to FBI increase after search of Mar-a-Lago. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Doesn't have to break the bank. With great prices on trending denim and school day essentials, you get the best and nothing less. Take an extra 20% off So Goods for Life. More style, more savings. Only at Kohl's.
And the latest on the search of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence and the fallout. The FBI issuing an intelligence bulletin citing rising threats against government officials with the potential for attacks by violent domestic extremists. ABC's Mary Alice Parks joins us now live from the Justice Department in Washington with more on what we're learning about the search. Mary Alice, good morning.
Janae, good morning. When the federal judge unsealed the search warrant of Mar-a-Lago, it raised a lot of questions about the Department of Justice's investigation. Now this morning, we are learning some new details about the months building up to that search warrant. Overnight, new details about the lead up to that unprecedented execution of a search warrant at former President Trump's personal residence. ABC News confirming a report in the New York Times that a lawyer for President Trump signed a statement in June after a visit by the FBI, saying that all classified documents at Mar-a-Lago had been turned over to federal investigators. But fast forward to last week, FBI agents say after their search Monday, they found 11 sets of classified documents, including 4 sets marked top secret and 1 marked top secret SCI, a classification reserved for some of the nation's most sensitive national security intelligence, normally only viewed in a highly secured area.
It's very important that the FBI and other security officials fully investigate how this was able to occur and whether that information was either inadvertently or intentionally disclosed to those who shouldn't be seeing it.
ABC News also learning that the Department of Justice sent 2 subpoenas related to the retrieval of these documents before executing the search warrant, one seeking security footage at Mar-a-Lago. Attorney General Merrick Garland this week underscoring they did not take the decision to seek a warrant lightly.
Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken.
According to the search warrant made public by a federal judge this week, FBI agents were searching Trump's residence for evidence of 3 potential crimes, including potential obstruction of justice and violations of the Espionage Act. The FBI warning of new threats to its agents and law enforcement since Monday's search, saying in a joint intelligence bulletin obtained by ABC News that there has already been an increase in threats and acts of violence, including armed encounters against law enforcement, judiciary, and government personnel in reaction to the search. Many Republicans on Capitol Hill, when they learned of the search, were quick to accuse the FBI of overstepping and playing politics. Other Democrats this weekend calling for calm.
It is incredibly dangerous to have responsible leaders in this country turning Americans, turning us angry and hateful towards our system of justice itself.
And we know that experts, law enforcement, and court staff are worried about the safety and security of the Florida judge who signed off on that search warrant. He's become the focus of numerous online threats. We are seeing calls for increased security around him and others if these threats continue. Eva?
Mary Alice Parks for us there at the Department of Justice. Let's bring in ABC's Jonathan Karl, who'll be hosting this week later this morning. Let's start with the search of Trump's home. Trump's team is saying he declassified those documents the FBI seized last week. Is there any evidence that happened?
There's absolutely no evidence that that has happened, Eva. What somebody close to Donald Trump has said is that he had a standing policy that any classified information he took with him out of the White House was somehow officially, immediately declassified. There's no evidence that there was any such policy, that even such a policy is tenable. And here's the other thing. It doesn't matter. The three criminal statutes mentioned in that warrant, the criminal mishandling of government documents, the Espionage Act, obstruction of justice, none of them require those documents to be classified. So even declassified or classified. So even if they were declassified, and again, no evidence that's true, each of those three criminal statutes would still apply.
All right, let's turn now to the midterms. Major primary races are happening this week. Liz Cheney, one of those 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Trump, on the ballot in Wyoming. I know you're heading there this week. Do you think she can pull this off, or will taking a stand against the former president cost her re-election?
All indications are that she faces a very tough battle on Tuesday, way behind in all of the polling out there, the top target of Donald Trump. And look, the 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Donald Trump, already 7 of them are not coming back to Congress. Some of them decided not to run again. Many others were defeated. Only 2 survived primaries, and Liz Cheney is the last one to face a primary.
Jon Karl, just a reminder, you can tune into This Week later this morning. Jon has exclusive interviews with White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and Maryland's Republican Governor Larry Hogan to discuss the DOJ investigation into Donald Trump, plus President Biden's string of legislative victories heading into the midterms. Jon, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Car thefts increase aimed social media trend, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Wayfair has everything I need to make my home totally me. Sometimes I'm a homebody, so...
A social media challenge being blamed by authorities for an alarming rise in car thefts. Certain cars could be vulnerable, but there are ways to protect your property. ABC's Phil Lipoff joined us this morning with this story. Phil, this is a crazy one.
It is a crazy one, and there are lots of ways to protect yourself, decent ways to protect yourself. We'll get to them in just a minute. First, we're going to tell you about the problem, and it is a big one. Car theft is up dramatically in major cities all across this country. New York City, for instance, up 51% this year alone, and this trend on social media is not helping.
You're right where you're at in the alley.
Sheriff's deputies in the Chicago area approached this vehicle found abandoned on the expressway.
USB. In here. Turns it off. Turns it on.
Determining it was stolen. Part of a wave of stolen Kias and Hyundais, all stemming from a social media challenge.
You've heard of all these challenges on TikTok, things that people have decided to do that are actually very dangerous.
If you drive a Kia or a Hyundai, I would be on the lookout.
They're basically just taking the cars, joyriding, oftentimes committing other crimes in those cars, and then dumping them.
In Cook County alone, since July 1st, there have been 642 reported thefts of Kias and Hyundais, compared to 74 during the same period last year. A more than 700% increase.
We've never had a rash like this.
According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, there has been a surge in auto crime. Car thefts are on the rise around the country, increasing by 17% in 2021 compared to 2019. Law enforcement warning car owners about these social media posts that show how to start the cars without using a key to steal them. Thieves using cell phone chargers to get around the ignition system. Quinn Cunningham, a victim of this disturbing trend, his Kia stolen from a parking spot outside a Milwaukee restaurant.
I ran outside and my back windshield was just ripped off, pulled off the ground, just laying there, and it kind of clicked, like, my car's probably stolen.
The video surfacing on TikTok and YouTube. Hyundai writing in a statement that they will work with police departments to make steering wheel locks available for affected Hyundai owners.
Also consider using something like the club, that old security device that you would secure onto the steering wheel that could deter thieves.
So police say it's obviously important where you park your car. When possible, choose a well-lit area at night. Pick public places where a car theft might not want to be seen doing their work. And it is important to remind everyone stealing a car theft is a felony in most states, punishable by jail time.
Yeah, I
It is? It is. In most states, Trevor, not all.
The New Jersey Attorney General said a lot of people get their car stolen by leaving the key fob in there. So an easy way to protect yourself, take your key with you.
Take your key with you.
Don't forget that.
For starters. Brilliant.
All the tips, right? Helpful this morning.
Simple things. News you can use.
Thank you, Phil.
Well, hey there, GMA.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Gang violence in Mexico puts U.S. consul on alert. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Introducing Astapro Allergy. Full prescription strength Azelastine. Now available.
Now to the surge of violence along the U.S. border with Mexico, causing a shelter-in-place order for U.S. diplomatic staff in Tijuana, following an earlier travel advisory to all Americans. ABC's Morgan Norwood joins us with more from Los Angeles. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning to you, Eva. We're talking about widespread arson, violent shootings. The list goes on, and officials there say that all of this is tied to gang activity. So a very concerning situation, and it's why the U.S. consulate in Tijuana has issued a shelter in place for its employees until further notice. And the U.S. State Department is asking you to reconsider any travel plans to Baja California this summer. Officials say all of this, again, stemming from gang wars. They're targeting stores, cars, and innocent bystanders. So far, reports of at least 24 cars hijacked and burned in different areas throughout Baja California. Things, though, especially escalating around Tijuana, which, of course, borders California, a major drug corridor, now a battleground for these rival cartels. This morning, the mayor of Tijuana is considering bringing in reinforcement, up to 3,000 National Guard soldiers.
Well, hey there, GMA.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. Let's take a look at the weather across the United States for this Sunday. Boston, 78 degrees. New York City, 80 degrees. Washington, D.C., 83 degrees. Atlanta, 87 degrees. Jacksonville, 88 degrees. Tampa, 87 degrees. And Miami, 86 degrees. Over in Dallas, 98 degrees. Phoenix, 100 degrees. Wow, very hot over there. Los Angeles, 93 degrees. Las Vegas, 97 degrees. And San Francisco, 74 degrees. That is a look at the weather across the United States for this Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. And we are going to switch gears now. Take a look at this. GMA gets all-access pass into special training for all civilian spacewalk. Let's take a look at this video.
We're giving you an all-access pass into the special training for the first all-civilian SpaceX crew and the spacewalk they'll be attempting. ABC's Gio Benitez has an exclusive look.
This morning, GMA getting an all-access pass into the special training to send 4 space explorers into orbit for what will become the first all-civilian spacewalk, Polaris Dawn. Billionaire Jared Isaacman leading the way as mission commander, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Scott Petit, mission pilot, space engineer Sarah Gillis, the mission specialist, and former biomedical flight controller for NASA, Anna Menon, medical officer.
We are here to learn about our body's physiological responses to different environments.
For Isaacman, it'll be his second time in space. He was behind last year's Inspiration 4 launch, orbiting the Earth for 3 days. Both launches benefiting the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But to get there, we start here. This is the centrifuge, and the whole point of this training is to experience the 3 to 5 G's of force they'll feel as they launch into space and re-enter Earth's atmosphere. An intense simulation to get their bodies ready for the launch aboard the SpaceX Crew Dragon on a Falcon 9 rocket. Gillis has been training astronauts for SpaceX launches. In fact, she helped create the curriculum.
I'm super interested to figure out what my response is and like the things that I need to know as I prepare for this now.
For the spacewalk, the entire spaceship will be depressurized, which means all 4 will have to wear new specialized suits to survive in space.
We're going to be up there for 5 days. So we got a lot of time, and we want to fill it with things that are purposeful.
And a little dose of Isaacman humor. what's something you learned from Inspiration 4?
Yes, so no Pop-Tarts allowed. It turns out if they're messy to eat on Earth, it's even worse in space.
And these 4 space explorers will launch into orbit as soon as the end of the year, and we'll be right there following along as they train for that moment. But even before that, there's another NASA launch in just a few weeks to see if they can send an unoccupied spaceship to the moon, around it, and back. An exciting few months ahead, guys.
Not a bad gig at all for a civilian. Thanks to Gio Benitez.
Well, hey there, G.
Okay, and there you go. Very cool indeed. And we're going to switch gears now, and let's go into some entertainment news. And in your entertainment news, let's take a look at this. The Princess documentary. Raw footage of Diane and sons William and Harry. Let's take a look at that from Entertainment Tonight.
You know, August 31st will mark the 25th anniversary of the accident that claimed the life of Princess Diana. Well, now a new documentary is taking a different and unique look back at her time in the public eye, giving viewers an astonishing and often painful re-examination of the people's princess.
Diana is very big news everywhere.
She's got the common touch. For 16 or 17 years, Diana was one of the most filmed and photographed people on the planet. Our job in the edit for the first 6 or 7 months really was just to watch 8, 10, 12 hours of archive a day.
Look through there. You see things going on inside it. Trapped.
Young William and Harry on the beach, hiding their faces under baseball caps and running away from the paparazzi. Diana in a bikini in the backyard. Never a moment of privacy. These are just a couple of the rarely seen moments in HBO's new documentary, The Princess, which premieres tomorrow.
She likes to be with people.
She likes to be bloody well watched.
That's ridiculous.
She has been humiliated.
She's almost like a silent movie star. She was able to non-verbally kind of tell people, I think, how she was feeling, and with a little tilt of a head or the curl of a smile, sort of project our own private life publicly.
The real takeaway looking at these moments was seeing the inner turmoil Diana battled. And as the monarchy prepares for change and Harry and Meghan have stepped away, this doc attempts to answer, how can mistakes of the past be avoided?
Do you, after making this film, understand why Harry reacted the way he reacted?
He certainly talks about a fear of history repeating itself. I think there are echoes, there are reflections.
Okay, and that does it for this edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Thank you for tuning in and watching this edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Have a great rest of your Sunday and see you back here tomorrow for another edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Bye now.